Hello, boys and girls. I'm back with another video. This is ELA Coach Lesson 14, Charts, Diagrams, and Timelines. So you often find these as an addition to the main text. Sometimes in books you'll see them as sidebars, or they'll be used as additional information that supports the text. You can use it as evidence, and sometimes questions will come from charts, diagrams, and timelines. So in the reading guide, in the coach instruction today, we're going to read a passage called Black Holes. And we're going to look at what the topic of the passage is, what is the topic of the diagram, which is here. This is a diagram. A diagram has words and pictures, and oftentimes it labels different parts of something, like a diagram of a human body, or a diagram of a frog, or a diagram of a building, like a floor plan. It'll have different labels, and it'll sometimes describe what some of those parts are. And then we're going to circle the label in the diagram that gives you information not included in the passage. Okay, boys and girls, let's read together. Black holes. The term black hole doesn't really describe these incredible space oddities at all. Black holes are actually invisible. And they aren't holes because they aren't empty. So how do you describe black holes? Black holes are areas in space where there is so much gravity that all the light is pulled into them. Black holes are typically formed when a giant star dies. Stars are made up of energy. When an enormous star uses up all its energy, the edges of the star begin to fold in, causing what is left of the star to collapse or explode. What is left is a black hole, an area that is filled with an amazing amount of gravity. So below we see parts of a black hole. There's the black hole. Light is pulled in. Some light can escape. And then something called the event horizon. Inside the event horizon, gravity is stronger than the speed of light. Wow. Gravity is a force that pulls things down. Because a black hole has so much gravity, it pulls in everything surrounding it, such as light. Do you see now why it is called a black hole, even though that isn't entirely accurate? All the light is pulled in, so the area is black. All the gravity pulls things toward the center, like a hole. Because all the light is pulled in, black holes are invisible. If black holes aren't visible, how do we know they are there? Scientists use special telescopes to find areas in space where stars orbit or move around, black holes. Scientists can also look for areas where stars' light is pulled into a black hole. Wow, that was a very interesting read. And look for more information about black holes on Google. All right, so what is the topic of the passage? Let's think about that for a minute. Well, the topic of the passage is black holes and their amazing amount of gravity and how they pull in all the light around them. So remember, you don't just want to give one word answer here. You want to write in a complete sentence. So we can say the topic is black holes, comma, their amazing amount of gravity, and how they pull in all the light around them. So the topic is black holes, their amazing amount of gravity, and how they pull in all the light around them. So make sure to pause the video if you need to write this down. What is the topic of the diagram? Well, the topic of the diagram, it shows how a black hole pulls in light, how some light that is far away can escape, as you can see there. So say the topic is how a black hole pulls in light but how some light that is far away can escape. So the topic is how a black hole pulls in light, but how some light that is far away can escape. Just fix this here. And last, circle the label in the diagram that gives you information not included in the passage. When I was reading the passage, it never mentioned anything about the event horizon. That was brand new information. So I'm going to circle that. Okay? So when reading, always remember, think about what we learned before. Big ideas, supporting details. Think about how the titles and the diagrams and the text go together. And then let's look at our apply question. Answer the following questions about the passage. Which detail from the article best supports the definition of black holes as areas in space where there is so much gravity that all of the light is pulled into them? Well, remember, I want to eliminate choices. So let me think back and look back at you can pause here and look back at the text if you need to. Okay, so let's look at gravity is a force that pulls things down. That's true, but that doesn't best support this idea. So I'm going to cross that out. B, because all the light is pulled in, black holes are invisible. Once again, this doesn't support this idea, so this I'm going to cross out. The term black hole doesn't really describe these incredible space oddities at all. That doesn't seem to fit either, so I'm really left with D, but let's make sure D is correct. Because a black hole has so much gravity, it pulls in everything surrounding it, such as light. And right here, in areas in space where there's so much gravity, and this talks about how gravity pulls things in. So this is the best choice. D is the best choice. Okay, so let's look at the short response. How does information in the diagram help you to better understand the passage? So the Think It Through says, to answer this question, I'll reread the passage and look at the diagram again. I find it difficult to understand what a black hole is just by reading the text because it's hard to picture what happens. When I look at the diagram, I see a circular area that shows light being sucked into the hole. The labels show where light is pulled in and where it escapes. When I write, I'll think about how the diagram illustrates what happens in the text. Right, because this lesson is all about looking at diagrams. Now they're helpful, so I can say right here, I can start by talking about the diagram. So I can say the diagram helps to show how black holes pull in light. So that's my first sentence. It helps me understand the information in the passage because it's difficult to picture without help. So now I need one more detail to support that. The labels. Seeing the labels about the event horizon is also new information that helps me. Because remember, event horizons was not discussed in the text. How black holes work. So remember, short responses, 3 sentences minimum. Diagram helps to show how black holes pull in light. That's my first sentence. It helps me understand the information in the passage because it's difficult to picture without help. Second, that's the first detail. And then the second detail is seeing the label and information about event horizon helps me understand how black holes work. So now, your turn to try. You're going to read Birth of an Island on page 127. Notice the diagram. Pay attention to the reading guide. That will be very helpful to you. And then on page 128, you'll answer questions 1 to 5. And don't forget to use the video for support. Okay, good luck, boys and girls.